Well, it made it overnight. Didn't hear any loud bumps. We still got some space underneath. None of the doors opened on their own or anything crazy like that. Uh, it's supposed to rain later today, but not for much. I just got to do something about the room in here. I mean, I got room to work, right? I got room to walk around. I got room to get the welder out. There's a lot of stuff just sitting around. Um, yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll get the fuel tank in there further, put the bumpers on top of it, just so I don't have to step over things. But yeah, get the rest of this rear end apart so that the bottom's completely stripped, and it'll be in real good shape. So it's awesome. Yeah, this will be worth doing. I pulled these out of the way. I pulled this little mini lift pump and the sending unit out. It's kind of, I mean, it's gross because it's just been sitting in there forever. And actually, the float fell off when I was pulling it up. So what we might do is just look for. I don't know if the diesel sending unit fits these tanks or not, but at a minimum, we can just pull that. We don't really need that pump, I don't think, because all that little pump does is it feeds. If I remember right, it feeds this bigger pump. You know, this is the one that makes better pressure for the CIS system and filtering everything. It's like this whole mass we don't even need anymore. It's going to come out and stay out. Really, we just need a line going up to the motor. So I mean, this won't be going back in very quickly, so we have time to think about it. At the same time, I think the other option is you can just look around, see if somebody's selling a diesel tank with sending unit for a Mark II. And then you just put it in. We'll see what the cost is, though. I don't want this to get too out of control in the financials department. The ridiculous department, we're already there. So took most of the stuff in this cart out to store in the other Jetta. I'll leave the head because it's heavy, but now we can move some of these things over here. And much to my luck, in the passenger door, I found my half jackets. I've been looking for these for like 2 years, so that's good. Nice pair of sunglasses. I used my little hand pump and got everything I could out of the tank. And I put in a green bucket because green for gas. But look at the color. Like how I don't know if it's turning back into crude or how that works. Because the last thing I used that pump for was to pull fuel out of my brother's Goldwing to get the tank out to do that water pump. So I don't even know if that'll run in the truck. I don't know if I want to put it in anything. I was thinking either the truck or the lawnmower, but at this point I think we just put it in containers and we take it to the chemical drop-off place. Just get rid of it like everything else. Because that's, yeah, I don't like it. Okay, so workspace tour. We got a lot of room, like a lot more room than I expected. Was able to stuff the fuel tank under there. I put the sending unit back in, the cap on, so that it won't stink up the garage. Everything packed up kind of fits in the line, so I can still get to my freezers and pull out meat and stuff like that. So today we'll work on just stripping everything else off of it. Maybe we'll do a little wire wheeling. And coming around, there's just some stuff. There's plenty of room to get through here. I had to put in a stupid stick because I kept walking in and tripping over this. So I think having the yard stake is going to really help keep me from hurting myself. It's flexible enough that I can brush up against it, and maybe it'll slap me in the ass. I don't know. And then I got a bumper cover there, and a bumper cover up there. So we're looking good. Yeah, just got to figure out what to do with that old gasoline. And then we'll get moving on this. I think we'll pull all the fuel lines too, because we can just tuck them away somewhere where we work and make sure everything's out of the way and get this thing in really good shape. Here's a tip. Take the bolts off the top of your rear shocks before you tip your car up. Also, trunk lids are heavier, and like these springs do a lot of work. I popped this thing open and it was like a rocket ship. I thought it was going to fly off the damn car. It scared the snot out of me. Got everything off that won't take a grinder to get to, so we'll have to bag everything up. Not necessarily that we'll reuse it, but that we'll remember it exists. So get the floor swept, like that'll have to be ground off, except that the floor got gasoline on it, and then there's a big thing of gas right there, so I don't want to be shooting sparks into that stuff. So get the floor cleaned up. We'll figure out what to do with that bucket. I've got a fuel container out in the shed. I'll probably put it in and just mark that it's awful, and I don't know what to do with it yet. But either way, give this thing, eat some lunch, give this thing time to air out so we make sure we don't set it on fire when we do start working. Okay, finally, evening, we're back outside. We can finally get into the car a little bit before dinner. Had an incident. Our master bathroom shower is leaking into the ceiling, ruined the drywall. Somebody decided they wanted to insulate the sound, so there's insulation up there. Drain has been leaking, jets have been leaking, and just soaking that insulation into a big sponge of misery. So we moved everything into the guest bath. We're going to be redoing a bathroom. So, if it's not one thing, it's another. You get your car on its side, and then it's time to redo your whole master bath. So we'll be busy. I'll probably start a second series, do some bathroom remodel stuff, so you can see how good I am at taking a bathroom apart. So I'll take the car apart, take a bathroom apart, and then just leave them, right? That's how it always works out. No, we'll be getting plenty of work on this done, plenty of work on the bathroom done. We've wanted a new tub for a long time, but either way, pick this guy up. It's like a little knot wheel instead of a giant knot wheel. I'd seen the giant ones, and it seemed like overkill. But I think these are going to put up a lot better than these will with the undercoating. So we'll use this for the bulk removal. I got the handle on it because we're serious now. We'll use that for bulk stuff and like getting into some of these corners, just kind of expose everything, and we can use the other wire wheel for the detail work, getting the rust out of the little tiny holes and things like that. So combination of the two is going to be great. And then this thing is $13. Look at her. Like, I think that's going to be really convenient for getting in corners without removing too much material. I mean, it's 60 grit, but it's not that. So yeah, I think it'll help, and it looks like it'll last a long time. So we'll give it a try. Here's the first one I did with that knot wheel, and it really made quick work of it. And it seems to give a coarser finish too. This has some, it's kind of smooth. So I think little experiment, we'll go over this one with the coarser wheel, because I think the coarser finish we have, the better for this underbody stuff. And, you can see the difference here now, though, going over this one again. So I think that as much as I like this wheel, like, this is a great little wheel. I think for the whole bottom of the car, this one's the answer. That's just what we use. Make sure we have a nice rough finish for stuff to stick to. I'm tempted to find a spot, maybe tempted to find a spot and do a test application, put on some of that Pour 15, let it cure, and then spray on some undercoating, and then do a bunch of work on the rest of the bottom, and then come back to it and see how strong is it. Can we peel it up, does it something, right, to give us confidence in what we're doing. It'd be nice to have a little test spot. I'm not really sure what would be, any of these spots would be good for it. Maybe we just do it on this one because there's not a whole lot near it. No, we might get some heat through from there. So maybe this guy, right? No, because we want to check up inside the car before we do that. I got 2 cans of the Duplicolor. I think that's right. Yeah, the Duplicolor. So I've been reading around, right? And like, everybody hates rubberized undercoating. Much for the reason that you see here. It's like you have a little spot that turns out to be a big spot. But all of these, like, the only reason this is like that is because some jackass put a jack on it, right? It's like a lot of the factory Volkswagen undercoating is really good. It's really good stuff. You're looking at a 30-year-old car. Like, it's going to have some spots, especially being a Michigan car with all the salt. But everything that I read, people hate it. They say it traps in water and it's going to ruin your frame, blah, blah, blah. Well, that Duplicolor stuff was also a lot of the off-road guys that I'm reading, they really like it because they go underneath their frame after they wash it, and if they see a spot that got peeled off by a rock or a tree, they spray in another coat on. They said it sticks to itself really well, and you can just reapply it with very little prep, and it keeps the rigs going. We're not going to be off-roading or anything with this thing, so maybe that'll work. Okay, here's a better example. So at the edge of this plug, I mentioned this guy before. oh, we need to pop these out just to make sure the edges are fine. There's a little tiny speck. It's like, oh, I'll just knock that off. And then you can see that as you expose it, there's just rust underneath the undercoat from above. Now that's because the floor kept getting wet because of the hole up here, and who knows what else was leaking. The point is, there's rust under there, and you'd never even see it. So we have to see it from both sides. There's some places where that's going to be impossible. Like here, we're not going to be able to see the back side of this. We'll just do what we can. But for the floor stuff, to make sure that we don't only have to replace this one panel, we'll want to do the whole bottom. We'll probably tip the car up so we can get back inside the interior. Make sure we grind all that rust away so there's no holes. Get all of these plugs out. And then we can tip the car back up, do the underbody, and move on.